And that sense of approachability must be there. You don't have to come through a whole, not that you're the Maharaja or you're the Raja or you're somebody and you're going and somebody's saying pranam and you just walk off. As a health minister, I was aware of and knowing it, then if I'm sitting at home and not taking any action, then that is criminal. Says Baraka, it's not a matter of PS Baba. But sadly, we lost it.
Welcome back to the RKCian podcast. Today, we are honored to host a guest who seamlessly bridges legacy and leadership, known to many as the Maharaja of Sarguja and to the people of our state as T.S. Baba. He represents a rare blend of heritage, service, and modern vision. As the chairman of Rajkumar College, he guides our institution with wisdom and purpose. Yet, his journey remains a lifelong intellectual pursuit and commitment to learning. It is my absolute privilege to welcome the iconic Sri Bhuneshwar Sharan Singh Dev. Thank you, sir, for your precious time.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to interact with you all.
To start with, your royal family of Sarguja was a founding donor state of this college. Could our viewers learn more about the royals of Sarguja and how they are connected to this institution?
The family is supposed to have started back in 195 CE, now the Christian era, otherwise we used to say AD. And I'm supposed to be the 117th head of the family, so to say. Pre-independence, Maharaja Ramanusaran Singh Devji, he was the Maharaja of Sarguja. And his son, Maharaja Ambikeshwar Saran Singh Dev, was my grandfather. Then Maharaja Madneshwar Saran Singh Dev, he was my father. And now we are sitting and talking together. Father was a student of Rajkumar College. He passed out from here. At that time, you had the course that was known as Inter. You graduated at the intermediate level, which was, it will correspond to class 10 today. So then they passed out and then he continued his studies in Allahabad University, did his post-graduation from there in history, subsequently joined the Indian Administrative Service. He was an officer of the IAS. The association of the family with Rajkumar College dates back to earlier times. As you would all know that our college, our institution started in 1882 as a hostel in Jabalpur.
Yes.
It was an hostel and it was placed in Jabalpur. And students or children from the feudal families of rulers or the Jamindars, Jagirdars of Chhattisgarh. The vision then of probably the Britishers or those involved in education was to give them a holistic and more modern view of things, which would help them administer their areas of domination, their kingdoms or their jagirs, be in touch with modern thought of that point in time. And later it was shifted here in 1894 as a regular school. And that is when members of our families are also able to contribute. I think the electrification, etc., was contributed for by Sarguja at that point in time. So this was it continued for some time to be a school for, again, only the feudal class. The thinking of the vision at that point in time was to train them in modern ways of administration and the way of life. We had the system of boarding way back in our mythology and culture, Indian mythology and culture. Today there is a resistance because it is so much more convenient to stay at home, relax, enjoy life there, go around, move around. So there is a resistance to boarding school now. But earlier it was a boarding for exclusive students. And then the cost was not matching up. The teachers required, the staff required, the families would be 15, 20 at a time, 30 at a time maximum. So you can imagine these 30 families being looked after by khawasses and cooks and other staff and teachers and principals and doctors, etc. So in the 1930s itself, the school was opened up for all. There was no exclusivity about coming from a particular background. and then the school was opened up for all families, children of all families. Later, girls were also allowed to study here, and we today are among the few boarding schools who have girl boarders as well as boy boarders. So the family has been associated with them. They formed a working constitution. They had members from the royal families of what was known as the Eastern State Agency.
Oh.
When independence was coming about, then there were negotiations between the Britishers and the ruling states and the Congress. So there were three parties who were basically leading. Other people were there too, who were leading this shifting of regime. So 40 rulers of the Eastern State Agency, 24 from Orissa, 14 then from Chhattisgarh, and 2 from Jharkhand. These were the ruling states which formed the Eastern State Agency, where negotiations that time were going on, and they formed the board. These 40 plus families of Jagirdars and old boys and parents, etc., like something like you have today. Today we have a more exclusive constitution where only members or the heirs or the so to say, today there are no rulers. The government doesn't recognize them, but we have families who are recognized amongst themselves and by people in their area still as coming from a particular family. So only those 40 members are life members who have voting rights, and uh, others are members even of the General Council, but they do not have voting rights. So today the voting rights are exclusive to members of these families, and their membership is in perpetuity. So whoever, so to say, would have inherited the Gaddi, whoever was the eldest or whoever comes to then have been known as the ruler of that particular state, that person then becomes the life member. So this is the nature of Rajkumar College. We have been associated with it. Boys who would have been my father and my uncles, they were students of this great institution. And in fact, where we are staying now, part of this, it has been renovated, but it was known as the Sarguja Annexe. So the children of the Sarguja family, they would be coming and they would be staying here. So they were not hostels then. RDBH and BDBH, they came up later again. The Rajnandgaon family contributed. So some families made major contributions, and they would have then the institution has come up to what it is today.
So, as you mentioned about your father, MS Singh Dev, IAS, was known for his commitment to public service and leadership. So, sir, what are the lessons that you learned from your father help you in your life?
He was a very bright mind. He had a very bright mind, a brilliant memory, which we have not inherited in that degree. He was a very warm person, very intelligent person, very warm person, very broad-minded, and you could feel the depth of sympathy he has for the people. As children, at that time, shikar was not prohibited. Our family was very much into hunting. So when we would go out for drives at night, without being told that these are lessons, he would tell us anecdotes from earlier times. And now we realize that basically he was, in a way, teaching us. I'll mention a few, one or two incidents he mentioned, that rulers are supposed to be, don't touch me, stay away from them. You know, the way it has been built up is that they are higher level people. So you have to be distant from them, etc. You have to behave in a particular way with them. See, he would say that when my great-grandfather, who was the ruler that time of Sarguja, he would be going by road, by vehicle, any person could raise his hand and the Maharaja's vehicle would stop. Today you have VIPs, you see how sirens are blaring, how the police, you have the pilot and you have the other police vehicles going around, and there's a lot of tamjam and hato. The first thing you see is if a VIP is going, during election you go and say, please vote for me. After the election you say hato. So that stayed in my mind, that it is, so to say, the duty of the ruler to hear whoever wants to make a petition or say something, and that sense of approachability must be there. You don't have to come through a whole system of taking permissions, taking time. What time will you meet? I've got an engagement, this, that, and the other.
Appointment
So
thing.
that there was that sense of openness and a opportunity for the
People to say
commonest
his
person,
thing.
because he's not coming with person, he's not a headman, he's not a village Gauntia. That time we had Gauntias or Patel, or he's not a prominent person. Anybody could raise
Just
their
raise
hand.
his hand and
So
say
the
what
story that was
want to say.
circulated was ki you have to do that. It is done. The practice is there. So you have a bonding, you have a closeness between the people you govern and who are supposed to be governed. And then for the officers, the line was that, see, no complaint should come. If the people, if something is happening and it doesn't come to light, if it's another thing, but if people make a complaint, then you had it. So the officers were also to be sensitive towards the people and behave in a particular way with them. What we call being harsh with them or exploiting them in many ways. So if a complaint comes, the officer had it. Then if you're driving around town, today is the day of mobile, so all the time we are getting a call or talking to somebody or doing something. If you're driving, your focus is not either on the road or on the people who are alongside. Maybe a few friends are passing, they say hi, you're engrossed in your mobile. So one of the things dad said, that when you're going, be attentive to this, that if people recognize you and they're doing your pranams, you should be saying pranam to them. It's not that you're the Maharaja or you're the Raja or you're somebody and you're going and somebody is saying pranam and you just walk off. So that sense of regard to the people must be expressed and you have to be sensitive to it. So I didn't see. So no, you're supposed to be attentive.
I think this is the right way of governing.
So those
You
were some
listen
of the
to
things that
people.
were passed on to us as anecdotes. And he was a great person. He was a great dad, a great person, a great human being. And I'm very lucky to be his son.
Sir, your favorite spot on the RKC campus?
I've been, like daddy, very fond of cricket.
Oh,
So I've played a little bit of cricket. At the moment, I engage myself in badminton. So whenever I'm on the campus, I take out time and in the evening around 7:30, go and have a 3 games of badminton. I think it's difficult
sir,
to go beyond that.
if you have to choose one between badminton and cricket, what would you choose?
My game is cricket.
Cricket.
But badminton is a sport.
Cricket is a
Like you
gentleman
all,
game.
you're a boarders, so we were boarders, and we played all games. We were asked to play all the games. So one has played hockey, one has played football. You can see a dent on my nose, so that is part of football. You jump up to head the other guy. I headed the ball, he headed my nose. So uh, athletics, I participated in high jump, hop, step, and jump,
Athletics.
200 meters. Uh, so all sports. There was carom in the house, that is your boarding house. You had carom, you had table tennis, you had chess. So you were introduced in boarding school to all games, and then whichever you are good in. I also played basketball in Delhi when I was a student in college. So for my college, I was, I suppose, tall, not much of a player, but because I was tall, so I was in the team.
Sir, sir, RKC have moved on from a day boarding culture towards a boarding school. What are your future plans and vision pertaining to this institution?
Rajkumar College was a boarding school.
It's now fully boarding school.
It was even earlier from its inception. I mentioned it was a hostel in Jabalpur. So it was a residential institution. When it came here, it continued to be a residential institution. The boys were sent, so if you imagine families from all over Chhattisgarh or other regions, if their students are sons, children are to study here, obviously it has to be a boarding. So Rajkumar College was never a day school or a day boarder school. It was always a boarding school, And I think right up to the 2000, it remained a boarding school with a few
Day
day scholars.
scholars.
Then the finances came into trouble. Rajkumar College management had issues, and there was a lot of loan that had to be taken. And because you were getting less boarders, so you had to take in day scholars to sort of increase your
Numbers,
intake money.
student owes the
You
money
needed money
intake.
to pay the staff, the teachers, etc. We
Yes,
were in
sir.
when we came into the management, I think about 90 lakh debt was there on Rajkumar College. This was in 2004. So before that, it had transformed from being a boarding school to a day school.
Day school.
And all the members I mentioned are from these families, and they have all most of them been students here, boarders here, and they are very clear that they want this to be a boarding school. Because boarding school has different culture, different activities. You mentioned sports. So suppose Rajkumar College tomorrow morning becomes a day boarding school. There'll be hardly any students who would be waiting to play games. They'll all rush back home.
Back home, go to their
And what about
homes.
debates? What about other
Elocution.
activities, elocution? What about dramatics? What about other arts, other activities which can only take place in a boarding school? As such, otherwise you can do them at home also. But mostly I feel that these children will not get an opportunity to take part in all these such activities at a time.
So I'm also bored. I know the feeling of playing with your friends, playing cricket, football, badminton, and wanting to play more, but teacher calling you back for prep. It's a good feeling.
You have only 24 hours in the day, so you have to pack in all these activities in that.
Moving on, if you had not entered politics or public service, what profession would you have chosen?
I do say sometimes that maybe I would like to have been a teacher or a principal. I would have been in business for sure because you need finances to keep your family running. But an inclination, I have an inclination, a strong inclination to share whatever I may have picked up in life. So one great platform to do that is if you're a teacher. Otherwise, people won't go to you to ask even. If you're a teacher, while teaching the subject, you can teach many things. Like I remember one of our teachers in Sindhya school, what he taught as a simile stayed on in life. So small things like he would say, all taxis are cars, but all cars are not taxis. So you're not thinking like that when you're in school. Then suddenly it opens your mind up that, oh, there are other aspects or other ways of looking at things. You don't look at it like that.
So, as health minister during COVID-19, what were the challenges that you faced?
The biggest challenge was that very early on, COVID-19, like you're mentioning, so it was first discovered or noted in China in 2019,
19.
October, November 2019. And the word got around throughout the world that is extremely contagious and is likely to reach every country. At that time, one didn't think so. Even while one was hearing this today, you have the social media, other means of coming in touch with things. So, as a minister, I was trying to keep in touch with a little of what some experts are saying about COVID. And they would be saying that it is spreading so fast that it is going to reach every country in the world. And for me, at that point in time, when the first case in India was not discovered, I think it was in February or March 2020, that a foreign tourist, probably an Italian who had come and he was discovered, maybe he passed away. First case was discovered. And then regulation, people are coming in, screening, etc. Students coming in from Great Britain, from elsewhere, Europe, America. So it didn't seem as if it would really hit you. But experts were saying that. So we, with our officers, the team that was working, we had got into it very early. So while the officers were saying it's going to spread throughout the world, the experts were saying, the experts were also saying that nobody knows anything about it, no cure to it. and it can be extremely contagious and lethal. You can die. So how many people? Then you went back to Europe and you had that huge contagion there. Probably a million people
Died because of it.
died at that time. So then people started thinking about it in those terms. Is going to be a huge, huge issue and no cure.
No cure.
Till date, there is no cure for COVID.
There are vaccines, but they're not
They are meant to boost up your immune system
immune
so that
system.
you don't catch the virus or you are able to contain the effect of the virus. They are not cures. So we started off with that and started preparing. There's lack of infrastructure. Oxygen, fortunately, Chhattisgarh is a manufacturing state. So we were in a position to give oxygen to other states. We had enough oxygen for patients in Chhattisgarh. But that was in the factory. To see that it reached all the hospitals, there were not enough oxygen cylinders, for example. Later, we put up oxygen generating plants, etc. That came up as things progressed. But day one, I was very clear that nobody knows anything about this disease. There is no cure for this disease, and it's likely to spread very fast. Then we learned how, like all viruses, it is a mutating virus. If you have influenza, you would probably be aware that you're supposed to take an injection every year for influenza, or at least every 2 years, because the virus is mutating and the vaccination or the injection that is given to you needs to be tweaked. As the virus changes its nature, so the medication needs to change almost every year. So this virus also is a mutating virus. Then we learned a little about that. And then we also learned that each mutation doesn't have to be deadlier than the past mutation. So then you had cycles, and today you have a low.
Yes, sir.
Nobody is talking about COVID. At that time, who would die, what would happen?
People were
I
at
think
their
everybody
home.
lost somebody or the other they knew, either a friend or their family or somebody in their family. We all lost somebody. So that was the nature of the virus. It was a big challenge. Manpower. Most of the private doctors, they had closed their clinics because there was so much fear. There were not even what we call PPE kits to protect those who are serving you. We did not even have kits in the country. Forget Chhattisgarh. So then the push to manufacture them, then the lockdown came in because we were not prepared. We didn't have medication, we didn't have vaccinations, we didn't have even a simple thing like a PPE kit. The whole thing that you wear, they were not available. So those who were going to look after you would have been getting infected and then going into bed. So many doctors or nurses also passed away. They lost their lives. So that was the challenge. It was a huge challenge, but the satisfaction was that we came together. We sought the people's cooperation also, spreading this word to everybody, to every panchayat,
To be in your home, wear a mask if you
every
go
home,
outside,
right from masks, oh, kya mask pen,
type of
all sorts
slogans.
of things. Then youth, they were, it's difficult to contain youth.
Online
So
learning.
you're talking about uh, being in hostel and sometimes feeling curtailed. So youth wants an open space to express and do their thing. So tell them that don't put a mask when figures are also saying that youth are likely to be more resistant. They may not get as badly affected by corona as the elders. 60 plus,
Was
be very, very careful.
very careful.
As you are younger, hoga nahi, but you are carriers. So to get the message across, you are saying, what are these guys saying? I am feeling fine, I am moving around, I am not wearing a mask. जबरदस्ती हम लोग को बोल रहे हैं मास्क पहनो but you're not realizing that you may be resistant
The
but
seriousness
you are
of the
the carrier.
situation.
You'll go around, pick it up from somewhere and then give it to your
Elders,
own parents first, who are
own
the most
parents.
susceptible.
Yes.
You're innocent in the sense that you don't realize it. And so why America? No masks, we are rebelling, it's a free country, it's a free culture. Maximum deaths took place in America. So we were on the side of caution. Please wear masks, please wear masks. We'll put penalties, we'll take 200 rupees or 500 rupees or whatever. The idea was to convey that it is very
Necessary to
important
wear.
to wear the mask, not only to protect yourself, but to prevent you from becoming a carrier. So there was a graph which came out again, one of the things one was learning, where experts had put out a play that they made a box on your TV screen, and they said that there's one person here who is contaminated. Like, okay, one guy is contaminated, we'll take care of him, do whatever. And then he says ki random movement of that particle in that space, it will be such that it will affect everybody in that space. So those are the projections that were coming in from experts. In a limited area, say this lawn or this house or the compound of RKC, one person catches that infection, he'll be giving it to everybody because he'll be moving around. So why curtail your movements? Why lockdown? The other things that are talked about lockdown, so I'm leaving that aside, whether it should have been there or whether it should have been a different way, whether people should have been given an opportunity to go back home earlier and then the lockdown came in, those are other issues. But those were the projections. So that is the scenario that as a health minister, I was aware of because I had seen that demonstration.
Demonstration.
And knowing it, then if I'm sitting at home and not taking any action, then that is criminal. Even when the vaccination started, we first said, ki let's, because vaccines were limited, give it to the staff who are working. And on day one, we met with a situation where a nurse said, I won't get vaccinated. डर लगता मैं नहीं vaccination it was in Bastar. So a nurse in Jagdalpur, she said no. Then like the government works, they'll try to push her into it. I said no, don't do that. Get her online. Let's talk to her. Let's explain it to her that there will be no harm. Though today there is talk of side effects which are there for many medications. But it was a life-threatening situation where this seemed to be the only help that could be provided. So we talked to her and eventually she took that injection. So there's a lot of resistance. That's why we went first and had ourselves vaccinated. So the people we could sort of send the message that if there is a risk, we are willing to take the risk. It is so important that this vaccination is taken because there is no other cure that we are willing to, have it first. So those sort of things also.
Sir, you took a stand on the Hasdeo Arand forest issue. Was it difficult to balance your environmental values with government pressure and policies?
Yes, it is very difficult. And basically, I have not been working as an environmentalist there in the Hasdeo matter. There have been other NGOs, other people who have been putting up that issue. And I have basically been limiting myself to being a public representative. If I am an elected representative, my stand has always been on those issues that I am not going to see the company, I am not going to see the government, I am not even seeing environment, I am seeing the people who are going to be displaced. They are going to lose their lands, they are going to lose their homes, they are going to lose their fields, they are going to lose their way of life, where they would be being born, where their parents would be dying, where marriages would be taking place, where children were being born, where they would be having their own cultural activities, their social activities, that complete uprootment. So my view in not only Hasdeo Aran, but all such matters, coal fields, etc., where there was a lot of, there is a lot of rehabilitation, has always been that if the people want me to stand with them, I have not been an activist to go there and say, do this. That's being an activist. So I'm just a public representative. If you are in trouble and if you feel that the government is pressurizing you or forcing you to give up your land, they say police will come, this will come, they come with lathis or guns or whatever. There's a lot of pressure on a common man the minute you see a police person. Even you're riding a bike in Raipur, you see a police person, you'll notice him. थोड़ा संभलना है इसे. We need to be a little careful about this guy. So imagine what will be happening in a village. You are intelligent people in a
The capital of
developed environment. You're living here. Yet when you see somebody in uniform, you are a little cautious. So what will be happening in that village? Officers are coming, Tehsildar is coming, SDM is coming, police person is coming, police officers are coming, vehicles with armed people are coming. The people get afraid. So that is where I used to always tell them that one, if you are together, if the village is together, then only I can help you, or then only I'll come. If half the people are saying we want to give our land and half the people saying we don't want to give our land, I will not come. The only way anything can be done or stand up to the government is if people come together. So that is, let us say, my way of working or my philosophy. But to tell the people was, unless you're together, nobody is going to listen to you. Because half your people will be saying, I want to give. Half will be saying, I don't want to give. So who should I stand with? So come together. If you are of one opinion, say 90% of the village. 10% will be approached by the company, they'll be given a job, they'll be given something or the other, some enticement, and to get them on the side. So some people will be saying, we are willing to give. But 90% of the village. So in Hasdeo, where you asked, when I went there, it was the 94th day of their agitation. So I didn't go on day 1 or day 10 or day 50. I didn't go because I was not called. And I don't feel you should be interfering in anybody else's initiative if they don't want your involvement. It is you're neither effective nor you're needed. So I never went. But on the 94th day, I had in between sent some of our representatives to go and meet them and find out how they are, what the situation is. They've gone and come back. But I got no message till the 94th day. So on the 94th day, I went and I sat with them, tried to explain all these things I have told you. That one, I am not on the side of violence. And for both reasons. One, in principle, I am not in favor of violence. Second, as strategy, if you become violent, the government is much more powerful than you. So you're handing over the initiative to the government. You're opening the doors for them to now force you to quit. Either they'll take you into custody or lift you away from your place of dharna or whatever. Come together, don't be violent. Whenever you feel that I should be there with you, you can call me. So I went there and I told them all these things. One, unless you're together, you will not succeed. Be together, that is your strength. You don't need to pick up a lathi because the minute you pick up a lathi, those guys will have guns.
Mm.
It's very simple that either you're in a revolution where then you don't care, so then you do whatever. How would governments change if there were no revolutions in points in time? Whether it was the Britishers here, whether it was the French Revolution, or whether it was the
Russian
American War of
Revolution.
Independence, or Russia, or wherever in the world, at points in time. But that cannot or should not never be the norm. When that stage comes, then you get into a Mahabharata. There is no
So,
space for Mahabharata every day.
were the peoples afraid when you get there, when you see their faces? Were they sad, beaten by the police, or they were just
They were not beaten by the police then, but they were under pressure. One has been going to them uh, over the years. Agitation somewhere, here, there, everywhere. Lot of agitations take place for similar reasons. So one place when I went, the first place I'll let you know when I went there, they had approached everybody, all parties, Communist Party, this party, that party. Eventually, they were to have been evicted. And I told them the same thing, unless the whole village is together, I'm not coming. You come together, then we'll be able to do something. They came together. And eventually, though they were evicted, 364 people got employment. So that was a benchmark sort of a movement where we were able to get the administration, the coal India people, South SCCL, Southeast Coalfield Limited people, and the public representatives together sign on a document कि this will be done for you, will be looked after in this way, and then the agreement was done. Then there were situations in another village where people came, they said ऐसा ऐसा हो रहा है, SDM is coming and police is coming and they are forcing us. I said okay, I'll come. We sat under a tree on a khatia, and then I told them kisi the rules of the government of India, they are changing. They're going to give you more money for compensation if you want to give your land. So don't agree right now. Just be together. And if police or government comes with force, don't fight. Call me, I'll stand with you. I'll be in front, not to fight for you
To solve
with lathi danda, but to
solve the matter.
give you that sense of security that nobody can do anything just like that. If they take you, pick up and put you in trucks and take you away, don't fight. Let them do that. But don't sign your land to the government if you don't want to give it. Don't use force. What is your strength? Being together. What is your strength? Don't sign that document under pressure. Once you put your sign, then in court you'll lose. They say कि हम डर के हमने कर दिया, that I was scared and this and that. Court will, it
Not
becomes
fair
very
to all
difficult
this.
for court to take decisions on those issues. So eventually, what happened was that that village, after coming together, they all agreed and they gave their land to the government.
Moment.
For whatever reason, they came under pressure. They gave their land, and 5 years afterwards, they came and said कि बाबा हमको तो इतना ही मिला. मैं कहा मैं आप लोग को बताया था. Don't sign right now. The rates are going to increase. Even if you are to have give your land, you'll get more money. Don't sign right now. But now you signed. Now nothing can happen. That whole village is gone.
Oh.
It has been rehabilitated. Next village, another area, IFCO plant was coming, the land was being taken. So they sent word. I said, okay, I'll go. On my way, a lot of big stones were put on the road so that people don't come. So when I went there, I saw there was a complete confrontation in the village chalk. There was a tractor standing with gitti, small stones, and there were police persons somewhere. The villagers had all got together. So it was a tense sort of a situation. And the Sarpanch had been, so to say, kidnapped by the police. They got him to wear the police vardi and put him in the jeep. They were to take him to the collectorate and get
Sign
his
that
signature.
document.
So all that was going on. So when we went there, we were able to pacify everybody, including the administration. You leave the Sarpanch, you go. If the villagers are willing, they'll give their land. So they didn't give their land. Then, 1 year later, they all signed and gave their land.
They came under pressure or
What,
some type of
whatever they thought,
something.
कि ठीक है, this much we are getting or whatever. So then they didn't send any message. At that time, it was all done. The lands were with them. Later, they gave the land. Later, the factory didn't come. So, so all situations are different. Hasdeo is a different sort of a situation. Uh, and there, I did say that, and it was in a nature to explain, not in any other way, that if there is violence, I'll be there in front. First bullet I'll get. But there will be no violence if you don't do anything.
Sir,
And next day, the chief minister tweeted that leave alone a tree, or a branch will not be cut. Though he mentioned T.S. Baba, if T.S. Baba says, because it's not a matter of T.S. Baba, I'm not the stakeholder, it is the villagers. They don't want it to be cut. But sadly, we lost this election, and before the new chief minister could be sworn in, uh, the jungles were cut.
sir, in my opinion,
A portion
unity
of
is
that
the
area.
biggest strength in today's world. If you're united, unity is the biggest strength.
Yes, always.
Sir, moving on, a historic figure you would love to have dinner with.
Difficult to say. Time with it wouldn't be dinner, but maybe Swami Vivekanand.
Something breakfast or lunch or
Some time with him, if I was able to talk to him, and if I was fortunate to get some words from him.
at the age of 70, you went skydiving in Australia. How was your experience?
It was great. Something I had in my mind, on my mind for a long time, right from Bond movies to otherwise. You're seeing people doing skydiving, so I wanted to do that. In Australia, we got the opportunity. Later in New Zealand also, I did another dive, which I didn't put on Twitter.
Online, Twitter.
But Australia, it was great. It was exhilarating. It's fun. The thrill of wind hitting you at about 200, 225 kilometers an hour, It's a
from the
dead drop,
sky,
initial dead drop, so it was
going to the land.
fun. Freedom.
Sir, was it a spontaneous decision or it was in your bucket list?
It was on my bucket list, in the sense that it was there. The opportunities were not there. I don't know if I had taken would have taken the initiative to go
You
somewhere and do
ticked
it.
off one more bucket list item.
One has one very satisfying bucket list has been ticked.
I once went for bungee jump. First, you get a feeling that it is not going to happen, but the experience is on another level. So, sir, what's next?
Bungee jumping, no.
Sir, bungee jump,
That, for me,
not
bungee
bungee,
jumping is
but
a no-no.
something else.
But maybe something underwater. I feel a little uh,
Oh,
insecure
exploring
in
the
the sea.
ocean.
In the sea, I'm not very comfortable. So if I get an opportunity, maybe train myself to breathe underwater with tanks and all, and do a little
Scuba
eye-opening
diving.
underwater. Of course, traveling. I'll probably go to see the Great Pyramids,
That,
the
that,
Great Wall of China, some other places. If I can make it to Antarctica, I'll
Antarctica.
try and go.
It's a good place.
South America, that ancient civilization, I'd like to go and see that. So some of these are there. Maybe the Northern Lights.
Hmm. So, we now have the rapid fire round in which I will say a word and you have to say the first word that comes to your mind. Youth, youth,
Youth, potential,
potential, education and health,
necessary,
Sarguja,
great,
favorite sport,
cricket,
adventure,
world tour,
well, too. School life,
fun.
and sir, last but not the least, Indian cricket team.
Uh, it's doing well.
And sir, who's your favorite player?
My favorite player probably be Tendulkar.
Tendulkar. Thank you, sir, for
Thank you.
giving us your time.
Thank you so much.